Let's talk about seventh chords. Now, seventh chords are a 4-note chord that have a very rich sound that you'll find in pretty much all genres of music. And let's learn about them. Okay, so here is the piano keyboard, and I'm just gonna start off with the first 7 notes of a scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, if I get rid of 2, 4, and 6, I'm left with 1, 3, 5, 7. And this is the same as a major triad with an extra note on top. This is a major 7 chord. So the major 7 chord is the 1, 3, 5, and 7 of the major scale. And right now I'm in the key of C. So I have C, E, G, and B. This is a C major 7 chord. So I can then find any other major 7 chord. So here's A major 7, and all I need to do is do 1, 3, 5, and 7 of that scale, and I have my major 7 chord. Let's try a different one. Let's try G flat major 7. So find G flat. I'm gonna think about my G flat major scale. G flat is 1, B flat is 2, D flat is 3, and F is 7. That's a G flat major 7 chord, and it has that sound. Now this is the C major scale, but I've created all the 7th chords that are relative to that C major scale. So what that means is I'm just taking all of the white keys, and I'm just doing 4 notes, and I'm moving them using the same key. Now, let's look at some of these chords parallel to their major 7. So now D major 7 normally has an F sharp in it and a C sharp in it. Now, if we compare it to D with all of the notes from C, if we compare it relative to C, the 3rd is lowered and the 7th is lowered. If we look at E major, normally E major has a G sharp in it and a D sharp in it, but if we compare it relative to C, we'll notice that the 3rd is lowered and the 7th is lowered. Now, F major 7 is spelled F-A-C-E, and F starting on with using the notes for C is F-A-C-E, so that's the same. Now, G major, if we were to look at it parallel to G, it has an F sharp, but using all the notes from C, so relative to C, we have a lowered 7. A, if we're looking at A major 7, there's a sharp there and there's a sharp there, so in 3 and 7, so that means that this chord has a lowered 3rd and a lowered 7. If we look at the 7 chord, so B major 7 is B, D sharp, F sharp, A sharp, but B, using all the notes from C, so relative to C, has a lowered 3rd, a lowered 5th, and a lowered 7th. So let's look at the chord qualities that come from this major scale. The first one right here is major 7. We already know that's root 3, 5, 7. And there's different ways you're going to see this chord quality expressed in the wild. You'll see like M7 or a triangle 7 or major 7. Now let's look at the next one that's closest to C, which is this one. So this one is the same as a major 7, except it has a lowered 7, and that's called a dominant 7. Dominant 7 has a lowered 7. And in the wild, all you're going to do is you're just going to see a 7 next to a letter. So if I wanted G dominant 7, it would just say G7. All right, let's look at the next one. This next one is a minor 7. And minor 7 has the lowered 7 from dominant 7th, but it also has a lowered 3. It's a minor triad with a lowered 7th on top. And in the wild, you'll see that as a little M7, a minus 7, or an MIN7. And the last one, this 7 chord, where everything seems to be lowered, that's called a half diminished 7, where the 3rd is lowered, the 5th is lowered, and the 7th is lowered. And in the wild, you'll see it 2 ways. You have minor 7 flat 5, which makes sense because it's minor 7 with a lowered 5th, or it is this like null set symbol. It's a circle with a line in it. We can use this to spell any chord we want. Let's say I wanted to spell a G minor 7 flat 5 or a G half diminished chord. I'm going to first start with my G major 7, and then I'm going to apply our formula. So in a half diminished or a minor 7 flat 5, the 3rd is lowered, so B becomes B flat. The 5th is lowered, so D becomes D flat, and the 7th is lowered. That doesn't mean that it's flat. That doesn't mean it's F flat. If you wrote F flat, you're lowering it twice. Like here is F sharp, there's lowering once, that's F. F flat is there. We don't want to double lower. F sharp becomes just F natural. We could do another one. Here's A major 7, and all you do for this is you do 1, 3, 5, 7 of your A major scale, and that's it. Here are all the diatonic 7th chord qualities in a major scale. The 1 is major 7, the 2 is minor 7, the 3 is minor 7, the 4 is major 7, the 5 is dominant 7, the 6 is minor 7, and the 7 is half diminished or minor 7 flat 5. Now this is the same in any major key. So if we want to do D major, we would just replace all of these with the notes in D major, and there's the D major scale using all 7th chords. So the 1 chord is D major 7, the 2 is E minor 7, the 3 is F sharp minor 7, the 4 is G major 7, the 5 is A dominant 7, the 6 is B minor 7, and the 7 is C sharp half diminished. 7th chords.